Hello everyone and welcome back to Nobody Does It FK Metta here on Football Manager 2022 as we look to build a nation of Latvia using FK Metta to achieve those goals. We are at the end of Season 5 and as you can see we have won another 2 trophies. It's probably not going to take someone very smart to figure out what 2 trophies those are, but we have won them anyway. We're going to quickly run through our achievements for the past year and then just have a little nosy at what the save looks like at the moment, and then we'll pretty much get out of here and next episode will be in a couple of days time. That's kind of the plan. So FK Metta end of season 2025 and let's see how we got on. So we had a couple transfers in that we talked about in the previous episode. We brought in Marcel Toth, who I actually thought would play more than he did, but he didn't really play very much. He's still developing into a very good football player, but only 6 starts, 22 sub appearances, but he's only 19. He is getting better. So he's fine. We brought in King Archerson as well. He's a Ghanaian not Ghanaian international yet, but he will be. A pretty good solid midfielder, good passing, first touch, vision, decent pace on him as well. A good solid bench player, I feel like. 23 years old, a little bit older than we typically sign, but we do have this guy to bring up on the bench. Play as a rotation option in league games, things like that. Sometimes that's just what you need in a squad. Artem Voropayev came in, the Russian left back, 46 games in total. We needed a left back. Pierre Weber left, and we just didn't really have anyone who could play left back. So we brought this guy in, 26, again a bit older than we'd normally bring in. But for this level, a good, solid, competent left back. Someone who we're looking to upgrade on, probably this summer. But for now, we'll take this guy. And if we have to play him again for another season, we'll play him again for another season. And then we had our 2 sensational deals. Now you'll notice this guy here, Dean Close, a 20-year-old centre-back from Histon. £110 and he's played 44 games this season, and I mean it's showing as a defensive midfielder, but if you pick him where he's actually playing, which is a centre back, he's pretty good. I mean his heading leaves a bit to be desired, but a 7.14 average over the season, 20 years old, rapidly improving as well every week. I think he's just excellent. For £110, I don't think he can get much better than this, to be honest. And then lastly, we brought in Elmar Tora, an Albanian who will be international. He's not yet, but he will be an international. We need to get this guy full screen. £205,000, and he's been sensational. He's excellent. He's really, really good in that midfield position. He's much better than what we had. Diego Luna's a good player, but, for 19 years old, this guy is sensational. 13 under 21 caps for Albania. He will become an international for Albania, I'm thinking, in this next season as well. On the outs, nothing really happened, although we did, after speaking about him last episode, we did sell Robert's Vipes. Now, you may be looking at this and wondering why did we do that, because obviously I raved about him in the last episode and he's only been there for a season and we pretty much sold him for what we paid. But part of the save is of course building a nation, and we need to strengthen the other Latvian teams. So Riga came in with a couple bids for him and we basically sold him for a little bit more than we would have paid. So we paid 180 outright and they paid 195 so far, up to 250. So we've made a bit of money. They've got themselves a really good centre back. I mean, he's had a really good season for them as well. Part of the save is just going to have to be building up the other teams. We're going to have to sell them players. That means some of our good players, like Oscar Ivanovs, is gone to Smiltin. I don't think he was ever going to be great, but he's a pacey winger. He's played quite a bit for them in the league. He's had a good season for them as well. So we do need to just keep that in mind, that sometimes we'll just sell players. Pierre Weber, as we mentioned, left, had a decent season at Smiltin as well. Orayo did nothing at RFS. Avramides is gone as well. He just never really done it for us. I was excited about him, but he just never really did it. But if we look at the season results, as you can see, it was another successful league season. We did lose one game, however. It was right near the end of the year where we were trying to balance multiple games at once. We did lose to Latvia, who finished second, 20 points behind us. But all in all, another excellent league season. We pretty much dominated the whole season. Our attendance is just under 1,000 as well, so the attendance is creeping up year on year, which is excellent news for the money. The Latvian Cup, we won it. I mean, again, I'm not really that bothered about winning this cup, but we won it. That's all we can really say. And then the Champions League wasn't quite as successful this season as it was the previous season. We did get to the final qualifying round, but we did get beat by a superior Steaua Bucharest side. We beat Sheriff Tiraspol, Karabag and Red Star Belgrade again to get to the stage, but it just wasn't enough. However, of course, losing in this round of qualifying does mean that you get into the Europa League, and we managed to qualify out of it. I don't know how, but we did. We got Zagreb, Villarreal and Red Star Belgrade again, and we managed to have a sensational start. A 1-1 draw against Zagreb at home, and I was thinking, oh, that's not ideal, we might be in trouble here. But then we somehow went to Spain and beat Villarreal 3-2, and then 2 straight wins over Red Star Belgrade again left us pretty much qualified. And then we did lose to Villarreal, and then we got hammered by Zagreb over in Croatia. But we finished second. We are in the next round of the Europa League. I don't know how we're playing yet. That is something we'll talk about in a moment. The finances, again, continuing to largely improve. The competition prize money, obviously not as much because it wasn't Champions League group stage, but we're still on the right track, basically. Broadcast revenues are well up, sponsorships are well up, everything's going up in the right direction when it needs to. The reputation's still a 2-star. And then just some stats. Prince Adu this season was the main man. We'll talk about Silva in a moment, but Prince Adu was just a stunning football player this year. As you can see, he won lots of different awards. Ermal Tora won signing of the season. Grinsburgs again, we'll talk about in a moment. But a few things to mention first. Now, as we can see here, if we look at the general page, we have now got 5-star junior coaching, 4.5-star youth recruitment. The youth facilities are 3.5 and the training is free. They are continuing to rise. The stadium is something we're going to have to sort out soon, I feel like. I don't know how we'll go around doing that, but we don't own the council. We don't own our stadium, the council do. So with the money that we're continuing to get, that is something we're going to have a look at down the road. But otherwise, this is all proving to be all good steps in the right direction. Again, the money is just, we've got tons of money. We are not going to be hurting for money anytime soon. Even if we don't qualify for the Champions League or Europa League group stages for a couple of years, we will be fine. The club vision, of course, they're still not wanting us to win the league. Like next season, they want us to qualify for the Europa Conference League and then continue to become one of the best of the rest. We're the best team in the country, and they're like, no, it's fine, just, do what you can. But we'll take that. I mean, I'm not going to complain. We're to improve the training facilities again, which will be done in March. So that'll take us probably to about 3.5-star training. Before we go any further, I've got one little youth player I want to show you as well. So this guy came through, Alexandros Vassiliadis, a Greek centre midfielder. And I mean, he's going to be playing for us next season, most likely at 16. He's excellent. This is the best guy we've got so far. This is how I remembered he existed as well, because look how good he is. 16! And he came through Latvian leagues as a Greek player. He's already capped at under 18 level for Greece, played at the European under 19 Championship qualifying. He's going to be excellent. I mean, I can't really say anything else about him. He's just going to be brilliant. Staff-wise, I'm going to have a little summer building up the coaching again because we can improve our coaching and staff once again. So I'm going to try and get some better staff into place for the training, for physio, for scouting and things like that, because we are now starting to become a group stage team in Europe. We do need to start finding better players overall compared to what we're currently doing. If we could actually get our scouting improved, that would be ideal, but the board seemed to refuse to allow me to do that for some. One thing I forgot to show is the Versliga last season. We have actually risen well up the rankings now. So if you look at our competition reputation, we are now in 64th, was it? 64th? Yes, 64th. We were previously 79. So in one season of Champions League group stage football, we rose up 15 places overall. With us getting into the group stage of the Europa League, we're hopefully going to be able to take us up to this late 50s range is sort of my hope for a couple seasons time. I mean, surely we're better than the Scottish Championship. Come on. Like, I've seen the Scottish Championship in person. It's not exactly a good quality league. So surely we're better than that. But all good signs going forward. The squad, as I said, the goals. Silva did score 19, but I feel like it was a disappointing season from the Brazilian. 13 goals in the league out of 33 games. 6 in the Champions League. Champions League, for some reason, is when Silva came alive. He didn't quite do it in the league this year. He didn't do it at all in the Europa League. He barely played. But in the Champions League, for some reason, this guy kicked off and decided to score 6 goals. Whereas Adu scored 19 goals, and 17 of those were in the league. He pretty much put no imprint in Europe. He did miss some games in the Europa League. He was injured, but he was a sensational beast in the league, but didn't quite do it in Europe. And then there's Fagner Henrique, who kind of did it in the league, didn't do it in the Champions League, and then scored 9 goals in 6 Europa League group stage games. So we've got 3 strikers who score in random competitions. Silva does the Champions League, Fagner does the Europa League, and Adu does the league. Don't understand it at all. 3 strikers, all who scored 19 goals each, all contributed in assists as well. And then there's Grinsburgs, 26-year-old Latvian, played nearly every game this year, 12 goals, 13 assists. He's not even that good. When you look at this guy, right? You'd look at my team and you'd go, a player you need to replace is Grindbergs. You know, he's left midfielder. He can play right midfielder as well. He's not really the strongest player that you've got in the team, but he just does it every season. Every year he's excellent. I mean, if we look at his history for us, we came in here and I just don't get it. I mean, just under a 7, 7.16, 7.41 and 7.3. I mean, I don't know. But for some reason, Janis Grindbergs is like the best player in the world. Panda had another really good season. A little bit less than he was, but overall, I mean, it's a good solid season from Panda. I don't know if he's improved as much as I feel like we would have wanted Panda to improve, but for now he's going to be good enough. Diego Luna now a good season. In terms of players brought in, there is one there that we've not talked about, and that was Jean-Baptiste Sanogo. We brought him for £85,000, central midfielder / attacking midfielder, which we don't play. But we brought him in on loan. We brought him on and signed him, sent him out on loan to WAC in the Ivory Coast, and I think he could be pretty good, really. I mean, there's a lot to like here already. He's only 18. He's going to improve. So 17 under 20 caps, 5 under 20 goals. Can't really be too upset about any of that, really. There was somebody as well I forgot to mention. Oh yeah, Nelson Akinyemi we brought in on a free transfer from Jov Promisas, who is a centre-back / midfield option, but I think he's more likely a centre-back. He just needs the pace is the issue. But 19 years old Spanish player. Again, we brought him in. He did go out on loan for basically a whole season, so that's why you've not really seen him. But he could be somebody who features this year. Thomas Erglis as well was somebody that we brought in, a right back option. He has been out on loan at Auda for the past year for £90. Again, I don't quite think he's going to make it for us, but he's just very good and fast. Good mentals as well. I mean, not a great player, but we do struggle at fullback. Fullback is an issue of the pitch, the area of the pitch that we do struggle a little bit in, and we do need to work on. But that's the squad, that's the stats. The tactic is still just this 4-4-2 attacking formation. Pretty straightforward. We don't really have anything overly complicated here. I find this is a good mix for working in the league and in Europe as well. We are competing quite well on both fronts, so I don't really see any reason to change this at the moment. And that's pretty much going to do it for today's episode. I mean, we've ran over what we need to run over. The Europa League, I forgot to mention actually, sorry. So the Europa League, we are in the next round, but we don't know how we're playing yet, and obviously the season is finished in Latvia. So I will just do the Europa League knockout rounds as part of the next episode, and we'll tell you what happened in there, because it's going to be months away before we play any games, and I don't see the point in coming back for a little 2-game episode. We'll be back in a couple of days' time, and we will show you what happened in Europa League, and if we manage to win the league for a 5th year in a row. We'll see you guys next time. Thanks very much for watching. Please do hit that like button if you've enjoyed, and hit that subscribe as well. Thanks very much, and goodbye.